Eugene.
That's really loud.
Yeah, it came in quite loud. I just like, ah.
Hey everybody, stop. And welcome back to episode 77 of Read This Way, and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and
All the other things. Yeah, I know we had a bit of an extended break.
Brad lost his job. Brad had surgery. The new year happened. We just took a break, and we're cooking. We're cooking. We'll have some big news coming down the pipeline, but we're not quite ready to share it yet.
Big news?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember the stuff that we're doing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's not really that big.
No, it's a little bit of news. It's
yeah.
I mean, it's big for us.
Like us, news of news.
News. Welcome to News, where all the news is newsy.
This just in, there will be news in a couple of days where they announce things about the news.
I think so. I think.
So you didn't.
What?
I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I don't know what sort of structure we're going for.
We're gonna go straight for chats, I think.
Why don't you like Astro Baby?
Look, straight off the bat.
I feel it's right up your alley. I admittedly I kind of got bored with it halfway through and skimmed, and then I was like, all right, I'm kind of invested. It is
literally read the first 2 pages, and then I went through until the last 15 pages. I skipped right up into the last 15 pages where things actually happened. It was a very cinematic slow burn. Yeah, it was way slow for me. Concept grabbed me right away. I'm like, yes, on board, let's go. And I started reading, and then I stopped reading. I'm like, and then I was reading halfway through a page. I'm like, and I flicked over to the next page, and then the next one, and all I saw was words after words after words, and I'm just like, okay.
So it's not the concept; it's the delivery for you.
Just this one shot. I have a feeling it's going to pick up pace a lot quicker from now on. With an editor on their back, I think it might change up and get a little bit more ferocious.
I really like the art.
Yeah,
it reminds me of like an older style, but more Western influenced. Or maybe because I was gonna say it does feel a bit Tezuka inspired as well.
Yeah, that first image, like the cover image, felt very Tezuka. I get where you're getting at from the Western inspired. It's just more realistic than your standard manga. The faces and the eyes in particular are a lot more detailed than what they normally are in a Shonen Jump title. Still jumps between goofy faces and stuff like that, but there
was a strong panel. Hang on, I'm just gonna bring it up.
Bring it up for me, man.
There was a strong panel that really jumped out at me that to like that rubber hose 1920s almost Steamboat Willie sort of vibe. What was it? Astro Baby. Damn, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I know you want to say it.
Oh my god. I
As soon
knew going
as
into
I
this.
saw it, I'm just like, what? They've done a new Astro Boy thing? Is this AI thing that they've been talking about? But no, it's not. It's a whole new title.
Alrighty. So this
Yeah.
is the cover spread. Just mwah. I love it. Simple. It's beautiful. Also,
I like the two-tone. It's got a cool feel to it.
I don't know how I feel about the baby, man.
When I read that last page, I'm just like, bang, I'm in. I'm in, man.
I'm like, oh no, ew, step on it.
that got me going.
Oh,
I got
yeah,
really
literally
excited when
right
that
here.
happened.
The news reporter.
Yeah, that actually took me out of it a little bit. When I saw that page, I was like,
so jarring, right?
it's real, like, people on TV are unrealistic, I get, but that's taking it too far.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was quite jarring, and I get that this is their first title and this is their first time.
I mean, I like it as a stylistic choice. If they continue it as a theme,
well, they kind
I
of do.
it.
So over on page 17, you got something kind of cartoony and so 17 and 18, which gives them the explanation, which is really cool actually, because I like that little sequence of how they're explaining how the virus happened, and it's in that sort of classic 1920s school education kind of
almost
feel.
like Fallout, like Vault Boy sort of
clearly
animation.
being influenced by that
in
sort
and
of
of
stuff.
Itself was like a rip-off,
a replication of that 1940s 50s kind of stuff,
propaganda animation.
Yeah,
probably where I'd slot it in.
Yeah, I just like the image of the girl spitting in his mouth. That's
just
yeah.
I'm reading that and I'm like, oh, okay, so someone's been like, hey, yo, bro, pandemic, maybe specify what kind of a virus this is. It's like it's not COVID, it's a meteorite alien virus.
Yes.
I was like, oh yes, thank you for that clarification.
Yes, I love that panel on the left-hand side, second down. So the view from above, looking down, it's a really nice piece. That
as slow as this start was, visually it's really nice to look at, and if I didn't have to cram the rest of the pages in before the show, I probably would have taken my time, but
which you will. I have a feeling you'll go back and give this.
I will.
Because it's
I've caught up on mostly everything else. I always underestimate the first chapters and how
the scale,
and how big they usually are. No, I've gotten an addiction to high fantasy again. after finishing the Wheel of Time, I was like, why not pick up another one that's just as big, but not finished? That seems like a great idea. And it's the best thing I've ever read.
Was great. What about heroin?
And the funny thing is, it's the same. Well, the author that finished off the Wheel of Time, I jumped into one of his series, so it's just like the dealer just upgrading me to the hard shit.
Oh boy.
Which is the book that I sent through to you earlier today.
I finished it. Maybe having a look.
Between the two, I want you to check out the Stormlight Archive more than the Wheel of Time.
Okay. More
that's how much I'm really vibing the like magic system and everything. And
I keep forgetting that's the thing that ropes you in. And if you're wondering, people out there, that's like comparing all those Star Wars nerds to how the Force works, and their particulars about that. So it's a very similar,
which is funny,
of obsession.
Actually, holy shit, dude.
Yes.
Star
Wars is a high fantasy. It's not a sci-fi.
I was raised on Phantom Menace, which has arguably the most high fantasy bullshit in it.
Yep.
With its midichlorians.
Yes. Oh, everybody loves the old midichlorians. Oh, he's got the highest content of midichlorians ever seen.
Shit, dude. I never realized that's probably where this love of high fantasy came from.
from the
Oh,
Phantom Menace. Don't admit that in public.
damn it!
Uh,
Oh, I was very impressionable at that stage, and like
yeah, well, that's
that.
clear.
Yeah,
It's no
man.
different now.
Look, I can appreciate that it's not peak cinema, but fuck me, I love the Phantom Menace.
It wasn't a bad movie. The thing that really let that movie down was the fact that dialogue took a back seat to the rest of the movie. And
Yeah,
that's just George Lucas in general. So
which
that's my only critique of his movies is
which is
he
funny because
doesn't know how to
I
people.
can watch the first movie, like, well, sorry, the fourth movie, and love it completely out of context. As soon as the second movie drops, I absolutely detest the prequelogy. I hate it
Yeah,
so much.
yeah. The
Like
first one sort of started off quite strong, but yeah, it dropped.
halfway, I can't get through halfway through. Why are we talking about Star Wars?
No, I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, yeah, we're already gone down the rabbit hole with Follow the White
Yeah,
Rabbit.
like it's cringe funny because of how overacted like Ewan McGregor and shit are, but like I can't take it seriously, and the dialogue from Anakin is just atrocious.
Of course, of course. Every time I
But I
hear
love him as an actor.
every time I hear Ewan McGregor, it reminds me of his interview. He had this interview, and the interviewer was like, you use the Force in public, don't you? And he's like, yes. Every time he goes through one of the automated doors in a supermarket or something, he waves his hands, hoping that someone will see him do it. Just using the Force. He loves it. I've never seen someone love something so much. You know, he loves it so much, but at the same time,
Yeah, because then
kind of
you go to
detests it.
the next extreme, which is Robert Pattinson about the Twilight franchise,
Yeah, yeah.
which is a hate relationship, but he loves to hate it.
I think they all do, and it's kind of
uh,
it brings people together when they hate something,
yeah.
a lot quicker than it is when someone loves something. So uh,
But
it's great.
I'm really digging the art style for Astro Baby.
It's
I
good.
want to I want to spend more time in there.
Yeah.
And I
Now,
feel like it's going to get very brutal. But
yeah, with the last few pages, it definitely gets
well,
a big turn.
where is
Like
it?
if you're
This
flicking to
here,
yeah, that's a
this
real nice
this
bit of
was
work.
where I was like, right, it's going to be light and bubbly, but it's going to have some real dark, heavy elements, and I'm excited to see where they take
Is
it.
that
I
what it
hope.
was? I was skipping over the light and bubbly, looking for the dank and nasty because
Yeah,
I jumped into this with that cover and the description. I'm like, I want the violence. Where is it? And it's not till the
I'm
very end. I actually
yeah,
skipped over all that. And the thing is I picked up on the entire relationship between these two in the last 15 pages.
yeah.
I didn't actually
I
need to read the rest of it.
I skipped over. I got to this page and was like, okay, and then it started to go into this rom com, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I really don't need to read it. I can tell what's going on
Yeah, you
just
can
by the
just flick
pictures.
through it and you can actually know what's going on.
um, and the information we got earlier about um him coming back to the quarantine zone to come back for the girl that he loved,
Yep.
even though she's pregnant with another man's baby who is no longer in the picture, and he's a horny 16-year-old that decides to pop the question.
This is where I stopped and started reading. I'm like,
Yes,
baby
me too.
time. Here we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
um,
And it's pretty stock standard. I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna die straight up. She's
yeah,
dead.
yeah.
But they go the route of her becoming infected. Um, and there's potentially something.
So I just want to point something out. the art
Yes.
style has actually changed at this point. So if you go back about 5 pages.
Yeah.
Maybe one more. Yeah. Okay. So you see it there. Flick over one page. You're like, it's changed. And I'm wondering
as well.
I'm wondering whether he did this part first,
Mm.
and then they got him to do the second part after, or the first part after, to flesh out what's actually happening. Because if this series started here, I'd be like, mint. That's how you start.
Yeah.
You don't explain anything. You just smash people in the face with
I
a whole bunch
wonder.
of imagery.
I wonder if that is what he originally planned, and
Yeah.
they got him to do that cold open with the cannibalism instead. This was pretty intense.
Yeah, that started happening. I'm like, baby time.
I've seen enough tentacles on the internet to see where this is going.
And this is where things got violence warning, by the way, blood warning, all that sort of stuff. And here's another Ellie as well, by the way.
That was the biggest plot twist, was she's alive.
Yeah, that threw me off a little bit. It was like, oh, you're alive. And then, oh, wait a minute. You're alive. I like the idea of them becoming, I mean, cannibals, yes, but there's something
super intelligent.
Something has infected her, and it's not just a virus. Something intelligent has taken her over, and it's like telling itself, this host needs protein. Eat me.
And then I assume, from what I understand, right here, well, I don't really understand this panel.
Oh, it's like a vein that's in the umbilical cord.
Oh, right. Okay.
And the baby's like, yeah, stop that. And he's basically internally punching the mum.
I actually thought it was it might have been like her remnants of Ellie.
No,
yeah,
because
no.
she looks back to see the baby.
Yeah. So
is why
she's gone, right?
Yeah.
It's whatever this new parasite that's taken over.
Yeah, I guess it does kind of have a little bit of Parasite vibe to it.
It'd be closer to a symbiote like Venom if there is Ellie's intelligence being there, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
I don't think so. It's more of a parasite scenario where it's taking over the entire body. But when you read the baby's voice,
old man, you there? I'll save you.
Yeah, I was going with a really deep, I'll save you.
Yeah. You there, boy. I say, I require your assistance, old bean.
Oh, chap.
I'm digging it. I'm all in from like those.
Those last few pages got me hooked a little bit more. So I'm keen to see what the next few chapters will be like and how long they can keep up the interest. Okay, so veering from that, did you look at the 2 Bronze Award winners?
No, no.
No, just no. So the 2 Bronze winners, which
was No Name?
No Name was the previous week.
So we've been
a little bit spoiled with this stuff because these are all creator-owned content coming over from the creator section.
So is this specifically Manga Plus side?
So Manga Plus creators. So this is from Manga Plus creators. The Bronze awards $1,000, $1,000 to the mangaka and publication on Jump Plus is their reward, and they are pretty outstanding.
What titles are we looking at,
So
my dude?
Geo and Daddy Do Dead, which was actually a bit of fun.
When
Just not long
yeah.
ago. So they're really close to the top.
Yep.
Like a couple
Oh,
of
so
days
these
back.
are from October.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a really, really interesting piece of work, this one. It's got like Dragon Ball Z vibe written all over it. It's a battle series. Well, it's possibly a battle series about a civil war, I guess, between two clans of different shaped heads. And an orb of power, which a young cube head guy steals from these pyramid head guys. The pyramid head guys are like the imperialist, military kind, and the cube head guys are like a laid back, I wouldn't say farming city, but just pretty normy kind of lifestyle city. So it's an interesting concept, but the whole thing was sort of put together just to have a really big battle, which is kind of cool. It's been a little while since I've seen something like that, sort of just straight up be about, battle and taking on your opponent straight up and all that sort of stuff. So it was a good read. The art's really nice. I mean, it's not super pro standard, but it's pretty good.
Let's have a quick look.
And it's enjoyable. If you enjoy a battle manga, it's going to be up your alley. Yeah, they shoot little heads out of their fingers. Like the whole concept of it is really cool.
From a
it
stylistic point,
feels real familiar.
I love the fact that he doesn't need to draw faces, and
yeah.
like everything else is just
the eyes.
Yeah.
And everything's sort of minimalistic. You look at all the buildings and everything.
I was
Everything
about
is.
to ask if there was any dialogue boxes, but
yeah, there's talking, but just not much. As it's just a little bit.
Oh,
so.
Love it.
Not the happiest looking guy.
It's it does a very good job of, like you said, telling everything with the eyes. Oh my god, I love it. I might have to give this a proper read through.
And the thing is that the shapes, the cubes aren't. They're just the outline, which is what makes them super interesting because it's a cube. Your head is telling you it's a cube simply because of that outline. So it's a pretty smart little setup. And you can, looking at the rest of their art, you're like, these people know how to draw. It's they've taken a stylistic,
they're choosing this
choice to do this.
It's a really creative shortcut that also makes it stand out.
Yeah, definitely, and I love it. It's definitely something I'd like to see more of.
I wonder how much time they save. Like, if we quantified it on percentages, how much time they would save. Whoa!
Okay. They didn't, dude. Look at the rest of it. They didn't save any time. Like, there's a lot of work in here.
Oh, pardon me. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is where it sort of turns and it starts becoming a lot more violent. And you get it's really cool. And it kind of reminds me of those, like, the short battle animations you see on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, like the old Flash animations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you get in, just really cool sort of movements and motions.
Has very similar energy to another series that I read with another dude with shape like heads that usually come in like square rectangle shapes, like tofu.
Similar vibe.
Yeah.
Everybody likes a cube.
has a similar energy.
Yeah. So if you get a chance out there, definitely 100% give it a read. It's just good. Like, it's just good, flat out.
And the next one was
Daddy Do Dead. Now this one is 100% up your alley, my friend. It is it's a weird series about the end of the world, in a sense.
okay. I can't
Not that they
change this one
really, not that they really touch on it that much, but it's about a group of people that are hunting down a series of hybrid people that are trying to overthrow the standard city environments that are in place. So it's once again a kind of civil war-ish sort of scenario, but this is a lot more Chainsaw Man / Bleach sort of. No, that's not right. It's hard. It's kind of hard to describe. Like, it's got a
Jesus.
it's got a certain vibe to it, which is it's
I'm
like
getting kind
familiar.
of like Sakamoto.
Yeah, that's my point. It's got that Sakamoto vibe to it, and even like the text, the dialogue, and the way the action works is 100% like that panel there. So you see that panel, that's American influenced right there. So that's something you would see also than a Japanese. The way it's placed, the way it's sitting, the way the words, even it's French. That's why. Sorry. I believe it's a French creator.
Yeah,
mainly
that would make sense.
because the main character's first name is Yves. Yves.
I don't know. I didn't look at it at all.
YVAS is it YVS? I can't remember how to pronounce that.
Yeah, that's an interesting arrangement of letters.
Yeah. But you definitely need to give this one a read. It's really interesting. The character design is really cool. Like the way they do the hybrids, they just have animal heads. And I'm sort of reading along and I'm going, this is pretty cool. And then the fish guy comes in. So go with a fish head. But instead of just like having a fish as a head or having fish features, it's a fish head just protruding upwards out of the body. So he's pretty early on. So
right there.
In the background. Yeah, but look at him. He's like lights up a cigarette. I love it, and like it's coming out of his gills.
And it's the gills.
It's really unreal. I love it. It's got this really urban grit, and you get like you look. So the conversation there is just sort of, it's very Fujimoto, where it's just everyday conversation. It's not like it's set up as exposition or anything like that. It's just two people having a chat about stuff, which may cover exposition in some way, but it's definitely not what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I love the conversation in this a lot, like way better than a Star Wars movie. Like the class.
Why?
Conversation
like,
in this.
I like it that you're bringing it full circle, but why?
I just had to. It's just really enjoyable. The characters are easy to get and relate.
Thought about Star Wars for a good 10 minutes, bro.
I know. Now I'm bringing it back. Bringing it back, baby.
No, those look really cool, actually. I didn't even realize that I'd hadn't been reading End to End either. Like, it was pretty much anything
What?
manga plus I hadn't been reading, so I've been catching up on a few stuff.
Yeah, right.
Jiangxi X though, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the end of it.
Whoa. Because they've only got a few chapters left.
Yeah, there's only 3 more chapters left now.
3?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like enough.
He's breaking out his big power, man. It's the end. I think this is just a lead up.
Really cool.
I think it's just a lead up to something else, something much bigger.
Another project, you reckon?
Well,
it's just the prologue.
It was too fast paced to keep going. I feel like it needed a little bit more reason for what they were doing. I mean, it was just so. The story itself is one dimensional, you know. Big Bad wants to get rid of the good guys. They wipe out the first lot of good guys, but they have to wait, 5 years to try again to wipe out the rest of them. And it's just a big old revenge plot kind of thing, which I love. Don't get me wrong. Love it.
It didn't reinvent the wheel.
No, not at all. And by doing that, they created essentially a vacuum of how quick things were happening. They didn't have a choice to slow things down because it would have made it boring. It wouldn't have suited the story at all. The way they time skipped was fantastic. They just threw it. Just like, time skip, bang, next one. And
time for your training arc. 5 years later.
Yeah, it was so much like that. It's like, I'll take you on as an apprentice, and then it cuts to like the big bad guy on a hill going, right, it has been 5 years, it's time to attack them. And I'm just like, yes. And the thing that I find most exciting about that is that we get to discover their powers straight off. Like, without having them explained, without having to see them grow or anything like that. And I'm just sort of sitting at the edge of my seat waiting for each one of the characters to use the power that they've learned, just so I can find out how far they've grown and what they've done and stuff like that. I think it's a really good balance, but I think it only works with the short format.
Yeah.
But I hope this is not the last we see of Jiangxi X, because it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, I was surprised when it was saying that it was going to be ending so soon. Have you heard anything about it being cancelled or?
Well, it's actually a Jump Plus title.
Yeah, right.
Which means they don't usually just can stuff. They let it sort of run its course. I think the intention was always to run a pretty tight ship on this one.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And I reckon it's built up because it's built up a lot of fans. From what I've read online, it's got a lot of fanage there. People love it.
So good.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a sales problem, because realistically, they got 2 volumes out, if that. They might only have 1.
I don't know.
Well, it's because
you have to have a couple.
It's a plus title. It might not necessarily have been printed. Yeah. Might only be online.
That's
I haven't actually sort of delved in, because remember how Dan was online only for like
true,
a solid 6 tonks before they started printing.
Yeah, that is a very valid point. I wanted to quickly ask you your thoughts on Monsters. Did you read the one-shot manga, or did you just watch the animation?
Just watched it, my man. Watched it. I could give it a read. It's only a short read.
I know. I've like put it in my library, but I haven't actually read it yet.
Yeah.
It was a cute little, like, I mean, you can't call it an OVA because it's an adaptation, but it feels like an OVA because it's that short form contained 1 episode animation.
It kind of is an OVA in a sense, because they did seem to. So I have skimmed over a few pages in the manga, and they seem to have changed some factors.
Yeah.
There's a lot of visual differences. So it looks
Yeah.
very different. So the art
Well,
direction is quite different.
they also did a little bit of One Piece canonization as well.
They did indeed.
So they changed his sword from the original manga to the
Well,
Wado
it's
Ichimonji,
Zoro's.
which is tied into the Wano's storyline, and
Yeah.
Zoro getting given it by his ancestor's corpse, which was meant to be the Wanderer from Monsters.
Yeah.
So it's like very very loosely tied in, but I would say like maybe 2-3 generations removed from the current story of One Piece anyway. So it's like it doesn't really matter.
No,
either
it's
or.
not. It's not a vital component, but
No,
it's a damn good little story.
yeah, it's very self-contained. I really liked there was some minute little issues that I had with it that it didn't really make sense, but I was just like, I don't really care. It's a one shot from like what, 30 years ago now.
Yeah, something like that.
I watched it with my partner, and she was just like, "It doesn't make sense. Why is the dragon coming if the horn was a fake, but yet he had the real horn to begin with, but the real horn was used to make the dragon go away. But if that's the case, why was the dragon coming to begin with? Like if you thought about it a little bit too much, it kind of unravels just a smidge. But as a character piece, it was fantastic.
And that's why I didn't even think about the horn. Like,
yeah, for me, I was like
literally on the back. It was on the back burner. I didn't even think about it at all. I'm just like, oh, he's blown the horn. The dragon might be coming and might not be coming.
I was just like,
by the end of it, I assumed the dragon turned up because it was a part of their troop.
Well, yeah, that was the implication that I got from the flashbacks, but then it didn't seem like it was on their side this time. It was really it was a little.
Well, they were kind of looking a little lifeless by the time it turned up.
True.
Yeah.
It was great. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You're right. As far as the character piece, it was spectacular. And I think it had more of an impact on me because I was still super angry. I was still super angry at Rebel Moon. It was still boiling in my blood when I watched that. That's the Zack Snyder Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
The Netflix Star Wars. We're back on that bandwagon again.
It's not good.
It's so you watch it. No, you have to watch it.
All right.
You have to watch it. It is a study in what not to do in story writing.
Cool.
So everybody who is aspiring to create should watch it. Should watch it because it's a very important component to understanding what makes things bad or how things can go bad when they don't have focus. And the thing is it's meant to be a character-driven sort of drama story, but at no point do you care about any of the characters. It never takes or stops or tries to connect characters together or to get them to connect to you. There's no possibility of that. Whereas in the 23 minutes that I sat down watching...
Is it a writing and pacing issue?
You can't get angry at the production. It looks great. Okay?
So
the actors are doing their job. The issue is with the fact that the story's just shit. It's like a really just convoluted and weird and ridiculous story. There are components that aren't looked at properly. The the way they introduced the characters should have been done over 3 films, not 1. The way that you're meant to care for the MC, but you can't because she spends half of the film in slow motion. It's just frustrating that it could have been something like magical. It could have been something amazing. And it was teetering on that sort of edge of it, but it was just let down by all this stuff. And it was just
Logan,
100% writing.
is this another one of those? It had fantastic bones, but you shat the bed
No,
and
the bones are even because
oh, they're
the
not. They're
bones are
rotten too.
stripped. The bones, he's gone and he's dug up graves and he's pieced Frankenstein skeleton together from all this other stuff. So there's barely an original thought in the whole film. But yes, that's exactly why I was so angry and why this hit me so hard. Is because I was so angry at this movie, and then I watched this, and I'm just like, this is how you do it. This is how you get people to care about a character and how they think and how they behave. Because the young girl in the cafe, you're like, I get it. I feel why you're so hurt and why you're so angry and why you're so bent out of shape. It hits so hard.
In terms of like realizing how much Oda was recycling these ideas in different formats before he landed on what he landed with One Piece. The girl in the bar is prototype Nami, one of 3, and clearly this was like prototype Zoro.
Yeah.
And the segue that I had for this ties into the newly released or soon to be released collection of Oda's early piece one shots before One Piece. Similar to like what we've been getting with Fujimoto and all of his one shots, which I think is really cool.
People are hungry for this. They want to see where it's come from.
This comes with the Monster one shot. It comes with Romance Dawn, which is the One Piece prototype, along with I think it's Wanted, which I think is tied into Monsters. I'm not full. I don't fully know enough about the third story here, but the Romance Dawn is also a fantastic little character piece. Just you can see that the seed that he had crafted for One Piece then was something special, and he boiled it down even further. Like he made it less convoluted.
So all you people out there thinking that One Piece was just like from the get-go good, he knew exactly what he was doing and he hit the ground running. No.
There's
dude was at it for years before he even got onto it.
I think three different one-shots that heavily are integral to the creation, but Romance Dawn, the big box sets of the manga for One Piece. The first one comes with Romance Dawn, and for the 20th anniversary, they did the gorgeous anniversary episode, which animates that manga, and it's just a really cool little, fantastic little fun Easter egg, like almost like a behind the scenes into how One Piece kind of became what it is now.
I'm not a One Piece guy, but I'm going to get my hands on that because I love process. I love process, and it's stuff like this that has me wanting more. Definitely.
And the final little bit of One Piece news that I had was the incident with involving the scans. Well, okay, so I've learned more about it since I was talking to you about it. So there's I don't know how much it applies to any other of the manga fandoms, but One Piece fans are crazy. I will 100% agree with that statement. For some people, it's like a drug. I'm not quite there. It's like a four-stage program of like where you fall and how far you are addicted. So this arrest takes out stage 2, which is arguably the first and second stage are the worst, right? So you've got the stage 4, which is the release of the product in Japan, of the physical magazine of Shonen Jump.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, because of that, those magazines have to be in the stores. So the release is on a Monday. The books need to be in the store at the latest Friday the week before, so that they can sell them on the Monday morning, because on the weekend nothing's really going to get delivered. And in that whole process, there's a lot of potential for leaks of people taking photos of
Within
the
that 24-hour.
well, the weekend the weekend,
Yeah.
right? So and then before that stage, there's even more leaks of people literally that get their hands on it. So like insiders, editors, and things like that, where they're leaking manuscripts, essentially, overviews of what happens in any given chapter, and that's how some people like consume One Piece, which is just insane to me. And then you've got your scanlations, which is stage 3. So between the whole process, you've got your initial summary leaks, which is just text. There's no pictures, and then you've got the photo leaks of street dated material. And then so like news agencies and other trusted business partners. Essentially, it's that at that level that these people got arrested, and it's really bizarre because they're like, oh, they were foreigners, but they're also business CEOs, and you're like, what is going on? And then the story gets even more crazy because they were doing it out of Oda's hometown.
Yeah, that's the nuts part, right?
Like the whole thing is nuts, but just what makes it's so bizarre. It wasn't just One Piece; it was also Jujutsu Kaisen, and a couple of other things. But it was basically the Shonen Jump magazine, and the reason that they've acted on this is because it's more the spoiler culture that they're trying to crack down on, as well as obviously their bottom line. They
laws, all that sort of stuff as well. So
they do. They're a lot more lenient on scanlations because that's more of like a translating.
It's reaching a broader audience for them. Let's just admit the fact that, scanlation is a slightly different thing because you're extending the magazine into an audience that you don't already publish in. Therefore, getting a demographic before all that happens. I mean, they'll come down hard on them when they need to, but
the translator for Viz, you got his start doing scanlations, so it's a lot more of a gray area there, whereas this would be akin to, say, like when I was working at EB Games, we would get games early because we would have to before the release date, and we'd be sitting on these video games for sometimes up to a week. Admittedly, a lot of the time for the 3DS releases, I would just put my shit into airplane mode and play that shit early. But I did that with a couple of Pokemon games, actually. Anyway, enough incriminating myself for a job that I haven't had for nearly 10 years.
And surely enough, that's not incriminable. It's not criminal
Well,
activity. That
if you,
it's not like you were out sharing it with everyone.
yeah, if I started
This
sharing
is
it
the
with
thing.
other people and selling it early, which is basically what these people were doing, that's where Shueisha basically put their foot down and they wanted to stamp
Yeah.
that out hard. Um, there's a lot of money to be made on those like scanlation sites and stuff like that as well, just from third party advertisements on the page itself.
Yeah.
So it is inevitable. I personally would love it if we all could just read it on the same day. Admittedly, I do read the scans for One Piece. I also read the official, but I also do subscribe to the Viz Media. I haven't subscribed to Manga Plus yet. I'm trying to put that off until I get a job.
Just switch over. Man. What's on?
I know, but I like their app
Viz?
better. I prefer their app. Yeah. Also,
Okay,
they've got the vault. They've got the vault.
yeah.
I like
For how
being
long,
able
though?
to. I like being able to access Siren. All right.
Yeah, just buy it, man. Hard to buy. Really hard
It
to buy.
is actually. It is.
I wish they'd bring it back into print again. That'd be nice.
I would love to revisit Siren.
Yeah,
Getting an anime would be so good.
Well, when you've got the power and the money, you go ahead and do that.
I will. It'll be the first thing I do. Siren anime adaptation. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
Before we start wrapping things up, is there anything else you're reading at the moment that's not shonen related?
Oh, actually, I caught up on Boys Abyss.
Oh, nice.
What the fuck?
Or not nice.
Logan, what the fuck?
Sorry, I introduced you to this series. I didn't mean
you haven't read it past volume 1.
Intentionally. You keep telling me how bad it is.
It is insane.
And I don't know if I can handle that right now.
Oh,
I mean, the first one was bad enough as is.
It is the most crazy hyper scenario tragedy that you will ever consume. So good. It's so absolutely bonkers now. It must, well, it's still ongoing, so it must be doing all right.
Must be doing.
And it got a live action adaptation of arguable quality. But it's still got one.
Yeah.
Which kind of got a little meta. I kind of pieced where the live action was happening, and reading through it, I was like, this is getting very, very meta about like certain things, because there's a movie of the book,
which is about a movie.
Well, the whole thing of the suicide thing revolves around this book, which is in universe being turned into a movie, but in real life, the manga had been turned into a live action adaptation. So there was a lot of weird overlap going on there, and it got very meta as you were like reading that for a couple of chapters there, where they're like scoping out places for the movie in universe, and it would directly reflect back to what they have to do for the live action, because it's all based around the area. So it's like, it was really bizarre. The latest chapters have kind of, I mean, I don't know what's going on anymore. We're finally actually diving into the Idols story.
Jeez, that's taken a little while.
I know. We've wrapped up kind of everyone else, I think. So the guy that wrote the novel, his mum, by extension, his grandmother, his story for the most part, along with his best friend who got wrapped up because of the mother. Dude, the interconnections of murder and like prostitution, and there's just so much dark shit. But somehow,
small town,
it's like the art feels so unhinged and like next level and like over the top dramatized that it loses some of that effect. It doesn't hit as hard. It doesn't
Yeah.
linger with you.
It feels hyper
It, fe-
real.
it feels like a caricature almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't say that to its negative. I actually think that's to its positive because it doesn't weigh you down after you're reading it.
Yeah.
But it deals with some heavy shit, and none of the characters, bar maybe the police investigator, who is by far like the minorest of minor characters, is a good person. All of them are horrible people.
Oh, what? There's a good person in there?
Maybe we haven't had enough screen time with him, but he seems to have like the purest, like best of intentions for the MC, and everyone else is kind of like most of us broken in some sort of way. And that hyperfixation on that brokenness is amplified to them being that caricature. Like the two girls that self harm actually look fairly similar, not like they're meant to be related or their character designs are derivative, but as an intentional choice, similar to how we still don't really know who the father of the main character is, but it's heavily implied that it's the author, and they do have a lot of similarities, but he shares more similarities with the mum, which is another big plot point aspect. And
Oh,
then
wait. Sorry. The author was possibly his father.
yeah,
That just
dude,
that after
yes.
reading the first volume, I'm just like, that link's there is just messed up enough as is.
Well, it's still it's fucking weird, man.
Doesn't that mean he like banged his mother-in-law?
Yes.
uh it's okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a manga version of Days of Our Lives, but with really good writing.
Yeah. And very intense drama.
It's like soap opera turned up to 11.
Yeah.
Like his best friend goes full almost misery.
Ooh, obsession.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but also has like body dysmorphia. Like he goes for good reason. He has some serious fucked up childhood trauma. Um and it is so he has like full like array of like shit going on with him. It's just really interesting just character studies of like these really insane scenarios.
Yeah. So, if anybody decides to pick this series up, trigger warning. If you are
majorly. I don't
affected
understand
by
how
depression or body horror or take your pick because it's all in there.
if you're
It's
desensitized to it like me, you'll have a great
yeah.
time.
If you're cautious like me, you'll wait until it's
It
all out.
was
I'll wait until it's finished before I do it so I can read it all in one hit and get horribly depressed.
it's weird how grounded it feels when like you explain the plot points to people and you're like, actually never mind, this is an unhinged fuck fest of ideas of like the list of like possible traumas, and they're using it as a checklist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
How can
I don't
we put
know.
these people through the ringer? That's what they've done.
Just like while you're reading it though, it just feels like this is a small town. This would happen.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Meanwhile, I picked up Windbreaker.
Oh yeah, you did mention that actually.
It was a rando. I just picked it up because I felt like some action, high school bizzo. Because who doesn't love the high school delinquent gangs competing for, who's the strongest. I'm a fanboy for that sort of stuff. And
Actually,
it's kind of
I have kind of been
mission.
that since Tokyo Revengers finished, so I do get
Yeah,
it.
it does have that kind of. I mean, in Tokyo Revengers had its whole thing, time travel thing going on.
That's what I need. That's what I need, a delinquent series with a supernatural hook.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have that. This is just a
Ah,
straight, just
I
a
mean,
straight up delinquent. It's a really cool concept, though. The concept is,
if the
this,
action's good,
yeah, and it is. It's good action. This kid turns up in a
hooks.
town that is, known across Japan as being one of the strongest delinquent high schools, and his plan was to go in and, crack some heads and become the strongest of the school and all that sort of stuff. Except when he turns up there, everybody is super duper nice to him, even though he looks like he's got two-tone hair and one pupil's different color to another. He's like walks around like a delinquent, but everybody's like super nice to him all the time, and he's just like, what the hell is going on? And it turns out that 2 years prior to him turning up, the new head of the school decided to turn the school into a
Like,
protection for the part of the town that they control. So
yeah. So
so when other gangs come in and cause trouble and do graffiti and all
yeah,
that sort of stuff, they come down
that
hard and beat the crap out of them and kick them out of town.
it's kind
And
of like what I did
suddenly,
with SRBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and
Anyway,
then
sorry.
suddenly
Continue.
yeah. So suddenly they're the heroes in the town. So he's got to get used to having this, because the character's written really well, because he's clearly had issues in the past, and he doesn't trust anyone. He doesn't like people getting close to him. He is always second guessing when people are being nice to him and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, he enjoys it. So he's got this weird sort of dual persona going on, where he's enjoying it, but he loves to fight, of course. So they get into trouble one after another with other gangs, and it's good fun fisticuffs, little bit
Oh
of
man,
knifing, a little bit of baseball bats.
kind of makes me miss Aishimon again too.
It it has that. That's actually the perfect example of it, because it's got that goofy character.
Oh, is it a webtoon?
Is it? No. Is it?
Windbreaker? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was. It doesn't look like one.
Windbreaker is a South Korean manhwa released as a webtoon, illustrated and written by Young Seok Jo. It is serialized webtoon platform from December to continuing now.
I would not have guessed it. I can normally.
Or is there maybe like a manga version of it? Hang on.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you looking? Are you looking at the one about bicycles or the
Ah.
one about street gangs?
I think there's two different series about that have the same title.
Yes, yeah, there is. I think there's actually three. I think there's actually three.
Whoa! Cool.
What?
All right. So Windbreaker manga
Yeah.
is a different series to Windbreaker manhwa.
Yeah, because
Cool.
I was very surprised to find out that they announced the anime for it a month ago. So it's kind of cool. That's something I picked up to read out of complete randomness. Turns out to be coming out anime format soon, and it's been animated by someone really cool. 1 second, I remember now.
Oh, actually, we didn't actually talk about it, but how dope was the animation for monsters? I thought it
Yeah,
had
it
a
was really
very
cool. It was
really nice use
definitely a
of
lot of
3D.
love. Well, done with a lot of love. The 3D was really nice. It was hard to tell. You can only really see it in some of the sort of camera motion moments when they do
Yeah.
the panning and stuff like that. That's when it's most relevant.
I liked the clear distinction between the characters and the environment as well.
Yeah,
Characters had a very nice softness to them. Stylistically, I really
everything
dug
was
it.
round. It was yeah.
Yeah. The villain was so comically like villain.
I didn't understand why DR was called DR.
Yeah, that
The
also
big,
didn't make much sense.
like
I'm like,
the
is
big
he a
lines
doctor?
over his
Like,
face. Yeah, I didn't know whether it was doctor or whether they had
it was
intentionally
so
done that.
confusing.
It was clearly done for the fun of it.
Well, we will be wrapping up very shortly. Please make sure to do all the YouTube stuff. It really helps us out. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It may or may not do anything, but it helps us out immensely.
A little bit. You like it. Share the love.
If you want to help us out even further, you can chuck on our videos in the background and just let us play on autoplay.
Join in. Yell at us. Do what you need to do.
We will be looking at different things that we can be doing on the channel for you guys, different types of content, still in the form of manga review type things. We just want to talk and share manga. So we want you guys to be included in some way, shape, and form. Help us do this, help us fund us. But we're still working out what we're going to be doing with that. We'll be launching a Patreon. But again, we don't really know what we're doing, so we're still just working out all the bits and bobs.
Photos, but
oh yeah, I mean, if you guys want to pay for like members only live streams, maybe not like that. We'll accommodate.
You said that in the creepiest way possible. We can do that. You know, you and me, just us together.
Yeah, it's you, me, Logan, and like as many other people that want to join in that pay for the Patreon membership.
Make it a group thing, hey?
Yeah. It's like an orgy, but with manga. The boringest orgy of all time. Or the most exciting.
Who knows?
Many paper cuts will be ensued.
Find out next week.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Logan?
No, I was just going to state that Windbreaker has been animated by Cloverworks.
Ooh, that'd be
dope. I thought
When's
you'd make that face.
When's that coming?
Coming this year sometime. I
need to check out Solo Leveling.
April.
Solo Leveling still too.
Yes, please do check it out because I think you're going to dislike it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the first couple of episodes, but now I kind of dislike it because it's starting to feel like something else I have watched. And when you watch it, you'll get the same vibe.
Is it cheat skill?
A little bit.
I mean, is it just because it's a wish fulfillment series that isn't also an isekai?
Yeah.
I have heard that Solo Leveling is like the creme of the pile of the isekai shit wish fulfillment. Like it's the one that does it the best. But I've also heard that it's not a very good adaptation. So,
I think they're saying that because people are saying it's shit. So they're blaming the anime. No, you gotta read it. You gotta read it. Chances are I'd probably still say it's pretty shit. But you know, I'm just not down. Just not down. But I'll keep watching.
I honestly, I don't know if wish fulfillment's gonna fly straight after the high fantasy series I just read.
Oh no, it'll feel like you're.
It'll be like eating 5-course dinner to like macas I found in the gutter.
Macca's that the homeless man just wiped his butt with.
I was gonna say pissed on, but so we were in the same vicinity. Not either. Oh, I don't know. Just worse, actually. Both are pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, on
That's
that
us.
note,
We're gonna leave on that.
comment, and subscribe.
Yay!
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the support during the little 1 month hiatus thingy. Good to be back. And we'll see you more this year.
Yeah, indeed.
That was a weird way of saying I'll see you later.
I know, but that's okay. It means the same thing.
I know.
I
It's
guess.
just thesauruses, man.